Welcome back, everybody. I am so back with another video. Today we are reading some crazy father-in-law stories on Reddit, and these have been super toxic, you guys. I have got some crazy stories for you, so let's get started. This is the subreddit Am I the A-hole? Am I the A-hole for correcting my know-it-all father-in-law and embarrassing him? Know-it-all already sounds super classic, right? I hate those type of people, and if you know me by now, I don't like entitled people like that who think they know it all. Alright, let's get to this story, but as of right now, you don't seem like you're an a-hole, even reading of the title, so let's go. My significant other had dinner over Skype with his parents last night. I get on with them just fine, but more with his mom. His dad has more of a demeanoring personality. He's a total know-it-all, has to have an opinion on literally everything, plays the devil's advocate all the freaking time. Oh boy, love that. These type of people keep your blood pressure super high up. The devil advocate people are always the worst type of people. Like, sir, we didn't ask to have a TED conversation or a TED talk on each and every topic, right? I think you guys may agree on that one. If I ever mentioned that someone was a jerk to me at work and why I think it was, he will always try to find a way to prove it was really something about else, even though I was there and he wasn't. He loves to read the news out loud and offer totally uninformed takes on everything, and argues at TV when he watches documentaries on subjects he knows nothing about. Wait, so he argues with the TV? That's dedication to being very annoying. He's funny. Okay. I don't usually argue with him because I want to keep the peace with my significant other and his family, but it irritates me. I get it. Last night, I sat watching with my significant other cook dinner over Skype with them. His dad was talking about COVID and then started talking about the plague of Galen. For those who don't know, it's basically a plague that hit the Roman Empire between the 165 to 180 AD, and again several years later, and might have killed the third of the whole population. My significant other's dad isn't COVID conspiracy theorist, as far as I know, but he started talking about how our current social distancing measures are clearly useless because of the Romans didn't live close together, so they accidentally social distanced, but this still had a huge rate. Why are we talking about this? I am so confused. Okay, I think I need to get more context, you guys. Although my job is unrelated to my degree, I have masters in Asian history specializing in Roman Republic and post-Republic era. Oh, so you probably know a lot about this and you have things to argue about. By sheer coincidence, I also wrote a paper on a disease and medicine in the empire, including that epidemic. I usually let his know-it-all stuff slide, but this time I was an actual expert on what he was saying and I knew it was a complete garbage. I interrupted him and basically began refuting all of his points one by one, giving him sources where I could remember them, and offering to send him my paper. Sir, you're literally debating with someone who literally wrote a paper on this. Sit down. Imagine thinking you outreach someone's master's degree with your half-read Facebook article. Come on. What are you talking about? You know, all these stupid informations like about epidemics, diseases, everything comes from that stupid Facebook. You guys, they have the most scammy articles out there. I don't even know who writes them. Who has the time to read them? These are crazy. The whole time he just looked at me in surprise, and then he said, well, that's one way of looking at it. And then I said, no, I studied this for 5 years. It is the correct way of looking at it. Later on, my SO told me that I would have been really patronizing to his dad and embarrassed him. Come on. What does this have to do with anything? I argued that his dad does this to me all the time and I was only playing his dad's game. He asked me to apologize to keep the peace, and I honestly probably will, but I still don't feel like I was the a-hole here, although my significant other's reaction is making me wonder. You are not the a-hole. I really don't think that, and I think a lot of people would agree with it. This was pretty spicy, right? For sure, your attitude, you probably did react in a certain way that you may have sounded bitter, which is completely fine. But after years of him running his mouth himself unchecked like that, one reality check is not going to kill him. I promise. And let's not confuse of being rude and actually disrespectful by being right? You knew this stuff and you stood your ground, so that's on period. Let's read some comments. Not the a-hole, you beat the man at his game. Kudos for that. You have nothing to apologize for. Don't dish it out if you can't take it. I mean, what else is there to say about this situation? Not the a-hole. Yeah, I completely agree with that. There's nothing much that I could say about it too, because I don't know what I would do in a situation like that. What will you do in a situation like that? I completely don't want to have a bad relationship with my in-laws, obviously, but I hate people who are entitled like this. Come on. Anyways, you guys, let's read the next one. Am I the a-hole for banning my husband and father-in-law from delivery room due to their intensely stressful / creepy behavior during my pregnancy? Of course not. You're not the a-hole. What do you mean stressful / creepy? This already feels deeply unsettling. You can feel the dread by just reading this. That's crazy. Okay, let's do it. A lot of context. The character limit cuts off, but there's gist. My husband and I are expecting our first child, which I knew would be really sensitive issue as his own mother died in childbirth with him. That is crazy. We met with a marriage counselor to talk things through at the beginning, and he swears he has been seeing his own therapist twice a month throughout my pregnancy. I don't want to call him a liar, but I'm fairly sure he's either not going or not talking about this big issue. He and his father, a hugely active part of our lives, are completely convinced that I'm going to die in childbirth. That is crazy. Where did that come from? I mean, I get it. He probably has like a really bad PTSD, but to think that your significant other is going to die while pregnant or while giving birth, like being for sure is not normal. That is completely not normal. They won't openly admit it, but their behavior has reached the point where it's constantly making me feel stressed and uncomfortable. When it was husband saying, please make sure your life insurance is up to date, and I would like to meet you with a lawyer and draft a will. I was like, that's kind of intense, but okay, if that makes you feel better. Listen, updating your insurance is one thing, but planning your wife's during pregnancy is unhinged. To me, that is crazy. I hate how she is the one that is having a baby, but everyone else is controlling the narrative around her like it's a normal thing or a movie that they wrote. Like, this is crazy. This is really unhinged. I just think they need a lot of therapy in that sense. And again, understand where they're coming from. They're going to be prepared and everything, but this is crazy. When husband asked me to go through all of my possessions and inventory that I wanted to be saved for the baby versus what I would want to be returned to my family in the event of my I put my foot down and said, absolutely not. Too morbid. No way. My father-in-law, who lives a few blocks away and eats dinner with us at least 2 to 4 nights a week, got on the case about how I was making things difficult for my husband in the event that he will be grieving widower with a newborn. They both have severe PTSD, you guys. I could literally tell. I'm just gonna add it here that I have completely complication-free pregnancy. I have no reason to think I will screaming in the coming weeks. This is crazy. This is crazy. This man wants to be the main character so bad at this point, or like he's trying to protect his son. I understand, but sir, no one asked you for your trauma to become someone else's reality. This is not happening. She has a complication-free pregnancy. Why would you think? I mean, it's good to be prepared, one thing, right? But it's not normal just to think that you will specifically die and you will be a widow. Come on, you guys. When I tell my husband, then he calls me paranoid. What? You sound paranoid, sir. But I feel like my father-in-law wants me to. His whole family identity for the past 35 years has been amazing single dad, never dated and had close friends or even hobbies really. And it seems like he's looking forward to be able to guide my husband through what he went through. At this point, I would honestly be happy to never see my father-in-law again, and I certainly don't want him in the delivery room, especially since he told me that he was just putting his foot down about me not being allowed to have an epidural or laughing gas. Putting his foot down about an epidural? No, sir. You don't have a uterus. You have no right to say that. You can't say that. You don't have a say. I am so confused. Is this a real story? This doesn't sound real. He's commanding presence and I know that whatever he wants in the delivery room, he will get. I know that people say, oh, L&D nurses would never let that happen, but you haven't met this man. My husband, in addition, is backing his dad on everything, acts like my due date is date. I'm sorry for laughing. This is crazy. This is straight up crazy. And completely pulled away from me. Every minute with him is morbid, stressful, and a reminder that a marriage seems to be crumbling. No matter how many times I tell him his behavior makes me stressed and upset, it's just getting worse, and I do not want it around me while I'm concentrating on giving birth. Do I owe it to my husband to let stress and upset me during labor? Is his presence at birth more important than a safe and healthy delivery? My therapist says no, but the whole thing has been so weird. I feel like I need someone outside perspective. No, you don't need them in delivery room. You're definitely not the a-hole. Come on, this is crazy. You guys, I do see an update, and I love updates. You know that I love updates when that comes. All right, let's see. So the post was from 2020, and now this one is 2022. This is a long overdue update. I know I worried everyone. I'm grateful every day for every ounce of concern that's sent my way. I'll be completely honest, I forgot the login information to my other account, and fuzzing through the roadway Reddit account wasn't the highest priority in my life at the time. I understand. Don't even worry about that. I had a beautiful and healthy baby girl. I divorced my ex-husband. I lived, obviously. Okay. I love that for her. To get right into it, I was unfortunately right about my suspicion that my ex wasn't going to the therapy. I sat down with him and very firmly put my foot down about my mother being my support person in the living room alongside with him, and that thankfully my ex-father-in-law was not able to be anywhere near the delivery room. I was also very adamant that I was getting an epidural, and the ex-father-in-law had no say about any medical procedures that I may take. I also told him that I was seeking my own therapist, as his and his father's actions are worrying me. My ex-husband didn't take it too well and put it simply. I had never heard him shout at me like that, and it scared me a little. My fury outweighed my fear not long after, however. He told me I didn't need a therapist, that he was just trying to be prepared. I admittedly lost my temper and told him I wasn't going to die. It wasn't my fault. His father's trauma wormed its way into his head, and he needed to fix it without taking it out on me. He told me that he didn't need therapy. You're yelling. You need therapy. What are you talking about that? That caught me a little off guard. I asked him why he went to his therapist and was giving advice about if he felt he didn't need it. His expression gave it away, and he caved not long after. It turns out there was no therapist. It was just his dad. During the times he was supposed to be at therapy, he was with his dad. I'm still fuming. Yeah, I would be too. Literally, therapy should be a tool, not a performance. If you're lying about going, you're just dragging everyone down with you. You're crazy. You are crazy. Why are you yelling? In the end, I gave him a choice. He could either go to therapy or I was leaving. I had enough of these delusions. He chose to refuse therapy and unpack my things and stay with my mother. At that point, I still wasn't planning on divorce. I had hoped that we could possibly figure our marriage, as naive as it sounds. But my ex decided that if he couldn't convince me to go back, then he would get his father and the rest of the family to do it. Oof. I had to change my number due to the amount of harassment and they have a hold at me. Disgusting. I am horribly disgusted right now. In the end, it was my mother in the delivery room as I gave birth. I am thankful for the nursing staff. They were a godsend, and I felt safe. Neither my ex and father would get even remotely close to the room without my say. So the divorce is still ongoing, and I can't give too many details on that front, but I have hopes that we will work on the tentative co-parenting agreement. My ex isn't a bad father. He loves our baby girl, but our relationship is done. As long as I live, ex-father-in-law will never be near my daughter. I will wrap this up. I have got adorable little toddler tugging at my leg at the moment. I am alive. I am happy. I got my baby girl in arms. Life is good. Listen, that ending is amazing, of course, and I'm so happy that you were able to run away from these toxic people. This is disgusting. The way they are reacting is crazy. It's like they did initially want you to unalive yourself. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, this whole story gave me chills, you guys. What would you do if your partner was obsessing over your instead of your birth? Drop your thoughts below because I still cannot believe half of this story. This is crazy. I really hope it's not true, but it just sounds insane. All right, guys, next one. Am I the a-hole for not going into my in-laws because they will try to give milk to my allergic daughter without telling me? What is wrong with people and forcing food into people who are allergic? This is literally criminal activity right here. This is allergy-inducing food, and this could cause a lot of troubles. I don't understand why people don't understand that. This is so basic, right? If you have something that you're allergic to, you will have a really horrible reaction. All right, why am I so mad already before reading the whole story, you guys? Hello. Hi. My daughter, 5 female, has been allergic to dairy products since birth. We had a couple of big scares and used an EpiPen. She was staying for a few days with my in-laws, 61 female and 61 male. I have a difficult story with my father-in-law. There was always been tension between us because he thinks baby/child should adapt to the adult needs and not the other way around. What do you mean? For example, if the lunch began at 1 p.m., young children should not be fed even if they were hungry at 11 a.m. They must eat with everybody. Huh? I don't like that. This is a weird conversation you guys are having right now. Yesterday, my husband received a picture of her eating a croissant. We are French, and this is cliche, I know. Then she had a Nutella, and then quiche, I believe that's how you say it. It's like a savory croissant, you guys. I'm probably saying this so wrong. They never asked us if they could try to give her milk. They live in a farm, and they lost the EpiPen. It is very unlikely that something bad would happen, but you never know, and emergency services would take 15 minutes to arrive. I don't understand. I'm sure they knew their granddaughter is having issues with allergies. I'm sure since birth, obviously, it was clear to them. And living on a farm where emergencies probably take a little bit longer to get there, they literally said natural selection will take care of it at this point, right? I don't understand. Why are you not thinking ahead of time? Why are you not being responsible when you're taking care of a child? This is crazy. She was coughing a lot when I talked to her on the phone, and I suspect that she has a big reflux. My husband is picking her up today because I urged him to. Like, the time they did not put a diaper cream at the area was red raw. Crazy. I can't stand the fact that they constantly disrespected me regarding the way I am raising my children. At Christmas 6 years ago, when I, 34 female, announced that I was pregnant for my daughter, he said in front of everyone that his son, 34 male, will be a great parent. And then I said son, not my daughter-in-law. The audacity to add that. What's wrong with you? He really wanted to ruin the Christmas for you for no reason. Since I was taking care of a preschool for my oldest, now 9 male, organizing birthdays, taking and picking up my other son, now 7 male, to daycare, doing the most of the activities with them, taking care of them when they were sick, etc. I have an Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, fatigue, pain, etc. It is hard for me to vacuum, to spend hours cleaning the house. My husband helps me for that. Now, I don't want our daughter to stay with them since I'm sure she's not going to be okay. The trust is broken. Am I the a-hole for going against my husband will for that? You know, your father-in-law seems like he's a really, really annoying person in that sense. You are currently managing chronic illness, right? And still doing everything for the kids. That is a super mom energy, and kudos for you. This is a crazy situation. I'm sorry that you're going through that. And I'm sorry that your in-laws are not respecting you in the way that they should be. And I really hope that your husband is on your side, in my opinion. He is kind of not. Setting boundaries isn't disrespectful, so you're not an a-hole for sure. It's a damage control when people refuse to listen. That is all. You don't get second chances with food allergies as well. One wrong bite of something that is you're allergic to, and that's definitely ER, and especially if you don't have an EpiPen. And what do you mean by going against your husband's will? If he's okay risking her life, his will could sit down and be quiet. I don't care about that at all. I don't care what he says in that sense either. Would you guys ever leave your child with people like this? I just know how much it would be hard to trust people like that. But let me know in the comments below. Now, let's read some comments under this Reddit post. Not the a-hole, you are your only child's first line of defense. She's too little to advocate for herself. You know that your in-laws do not take her allergy seriously. That is exactly what I mean. And are likely to actively give allergens just to prove you wrong. Their care and concern for your daughter comes second to their belief in their own ability. Exactly. There's no way I would be allowing people like that unsupervised access to my daughter, no matter what my husband said. The stakes are too high. Yeah, I agree. This is crazy. This is literally something that they are aware of and they are ignoring completely. I don't like that at all. Let me know what you guys think about these. I really hope you like them. I will be seeing you on my next video for sure. Make sure you check out all the links in the description. I have a beauty channel as well, so I want to see you there as well. And for now, I will say goodbye. Bye.